Welcome to this series preview media availability edition of Talking Hoosier Baseball. Coming off a huge series win at Maryland, Indiana baseball is preparing for the stretch run as it attempts to return to the postseason. With the injury to junior catcher first baseman Brock Tibbits, catcher Jake Stadler and first baseman Joey Brenczewski are in the lineup every day, and both had a great weekend in College Park. Brenczewski was awarded as Big Ten Freshman of the Week. On Wednesday, the media met with head coach Jeff Mercer, Stadler, and Brenczewski. All right, Coach, after a phenomenal weekend at Maryland, just where do you guys feel that you're at right now, and what are you hoping to accomplish this coming weekend?
Yeah, you kind of look at the last month, the last couple of weeks. You're just trying to get. You probably kind of went more into a player development phase than you probably had anticipated going into with some of the injuries, and so you're looking at this past week or 10 days and you kind of started to see even like the Middle Tennessee game into the Butler weekend in spurts where some of those young guys are starting to kind of grow up. You look at the Olivers and the Wiggins and Joey B and some of the young arms, Vogel, and then some of those transfer arms starting to really improve, Burr and Moffitt and those guys. So you're looking at this past week as just kind of the first time that stuff has showed up in inconsistency, where that next man up is starting to step up and be a really good player and be capable players. And so I would say that's kind of where I thought we were at this week from Indiana State to the Maryland weekend. Was we've been talented enough, we've been capable enough. We just have to that next group has to improve, and you got to keep working, and it's got to grow up. And not only do you have to get in the game, then you have to get in there and have success, and then you have to do it consistently and then string it together. So, it was a good week. And then, unfortunately, I hate that we couldn't play yesterday with all the weather and stuff. But, just now you got to do it for 2 weeks in a row, right? You got to string it together. You got to start to have some consistency from those guys, and over a course of 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row, and the growth of Bothwell and Foley has been huge, right? Look, from those guys from even a couple months ago, but certainly from last year, splitting those guys up. Now they're both able to give us 5 to 7 innings, even 8 on occasion on a weekend, and so you feel good about going into a weekend, and then it really shrinks the game on Sunday. So just kind of that, right? The growth, the development of those guys, and then now we need to start to put it together for consecutive weekends. And for those young guys, as scouting reports get out, and now they're going to pitch you differently and do things differently, can we adjust back to that? Will be kind of that next phase for us.
Yeah, go ahead. Have you noticed a change, like an attitude at all in the locker room over the last week?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke a lot. I think I was talking to somebody yesterday. Expectation and injuries are poor company, and then when you have those things together, you have disappointment and a little bit of embarrassment, frustration. And so we had a lot of conversations about dealing with just the playing to not lose, right? You haven't experienced losing, you hadn't experienced failure, you didn't expect to have failure, and all of a sudden those things come, and then you can see guys get tight, and you can see some of those things come. It's like, okay, well, we understand that it's not working this way, we're not having great success this way, and we're certainly not enjoying ourselves. So let's try to go back and enjoy our time together. This isn't a labor. This is something that we enjoy doing. And credit to some of those guys. They really took that to heart. Cerny and Pine, you could kind of feel them leading the charge in that way and being vocal about it. Like, let's just go play. Like, let's go play. And I think that kind of, you could see the enthusiasm and the energy. And then I think what helps a ton is when you have guys that, they step up. It's exciting, Shepard gets hurt and Joey B steps in, and now he's kind of starting to get his feet underneath him, and he's playing really well. And then Tibbits gets hurt, and then Stadler steps in and plays terrific. So I think those guys just making a decision like, let's just go play. Let's go play to win. And then you have some guys step in and step up and really produce, and that gets exciting, and that's a lot of fun. And then you can kind of feel the energy go, and now the dugout's pumped up and excited. And so, you can feel those things, kind of culmination of that. But a lot of it, like I always tell guys, guys will, over the course of coaching, guys will say, well, we need more energy from the dugout. And it's like, well, we need to give them something to be energized about. we leave guys on second and third, every inning. There's not a whole lot of enthusiasm. You walk the leadoff guy, who are you supposed to get hollering about? But when, Jake Stadler steps in and gets 3 hits 3 times this week or whatever it is and plays great and back picks the guy and we pick a guy off second base, you start to do some things and then there's a lot of enthusiasm behind it and start to play well.
Coach, going back to the pitching, you had Bothwell and Foley Friday, Saturday. You moved Vergarchik to Sunday, threw 3 innings.
Yeah.
Are you going to try and stretch him out in the future to really solidify the rotation, or it's just kind of small innings?
Yeah, kind of depending upon how he does and how he recovers. He's a professional from the standpoint that he's able to manage games. And, we kind of got in a little bit of trouble there in the first on Sunday. Tyler tries to back pick and Jake backs up, they'll get out second base. We pick a guy off at second base with a really good spin pick. And so he's the kind of guy that even if things aren't going right, he can manage the game and not allow anything to get away from him. But we'll kind of go as he allows us to go. And as the other guys develop too. I wouldn't be opposed to using him earlier in the week if we needed him to win one of the first 2 games. Just philosophically, it's always been like whichever game is at hand, you win that game, and then you figure out the next one when the next one starts because you don't know if that game is going to be there again into the future. So it would be great. It would be great if he could extend out and go 5 to 7 innings. But if we have to have him on Friday or Saturday to finish the game, I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Jeff, can you talk a little bit more about what you've gotten from Jake and Joey, the way they've stepped up?
Yeah. You look at obviously Jake's transition from his previous school. I think you have to give a ton of credit to a guy that is talented and capable and believes in himself. I think you look at he's hitting 300 in the middle of the lineup, has had multiple 2-out hits, big plays for us. It's a guy that didn't have a great offensive year last year. It's a guy that came in and changed his whole swing and bought into a different system and invested and believed in himself, and he's come out and really shown it. So it's given us a huge lift, especially when Brock Tibbits, one of the best players in the last 10 or 15 years, goes down. Jake's ability to step in and step up for us was critical. And then Joey, taking a redshirt year last year, having an injury this fall, missing 3 or 4 months with a hand injury, and then having to go to a new position to learn that. It's been a lot, and so we've always liked him offensively, tried to find him a home defensively, and that got expedited with the injuries to Shepard and Tibbits. But you have to give a lot of credit to a guy who's young guy, hadn't played, steps in and is capable. So they're both very good workers, very professional in their drill work, very professional in the way that they accept coaching, accept teaching and instruction. And then when you have guys that are stable and steady and under control and they're coachable, then you can incrementally get those guys better. And there's something to be said for feeling the moment, like the team needs me to step in here, and you got the toughness and the stiff enough spine to step in there and go and perform for your teammates. So both of those guys this past week, probably the difference for us, right? Probably the difference in winning and losing. Those guys' ability to step in and just compete at a high level and follow a plan.
Coach, big wins on Friday and Saturday night. Then on Sunday you play a close game, even though you fall. What does your team really learn from that? How do you build off of a close game like that?
Well, we lost 2 balls in the sun in the outfield, and so the reality is we made some really good defensive plays. Jake backing up and back picking a guy, and then we pick a guy for second base. Carter made a really nice catch in the gap. Mitchell made a great catch in right center. Would have been a leadoff double or triple to start the 8th of the tie game. And then the big inning that they scored runs, we had 2 or 3 walks and hit by pitch. So you lose a ball in the sun and you have 3 free bases an inning, you're not going to win that game against a good team on the road. So I think you look at how we played in the first 2 games. Offensively, we were obviously really good, but we were adjustable, we were adaptable. Hit the ball in a big part of the field. We played really good defense. We didn't give away free bases, and we executed defensively. And then on Sunday, you had a couple of free bases in succession, right? And then we misplayed 2 balls in the outfield. So I would say that's always going to be the thing for us is, we 6 or less is a big deal for us to talk about it. It's also like if you score 15 runs, you got a bigger chance to win. So it's okay, let's go score 15, but we still have to, at our default, we are still bound by the reality of you got to take care of the ball, and you can't give away free bases in one inning, in multiple innings. You're going to have them every now and then, right? You don't want to live in the middle of the plate. We've seen us do that where we've been tentative in the middle, trying to avoid the free bases as those guys kind of got their feet underneath them, filling in for those innings. And then now we've gotten to our better stuff out of the middle. We've improved in that area. So I don't want to say we're never going to walk anybody, but man, you get 3 of them in a row and an error in the middle of it, you're going to have a tough inning. So I think that's probably the thing. Is like, hey, our offense is starting to go a little bit, and it's about time. So we're going there. But there's going to be games where the freshman they threw on Sunday was excellent. He was their best arm. He's a top 5 ERA in the league, so he was excellent. There's going to be those games where we don't score 15 runs, and we're going to have to take care of the ball to support a pitching staff that they gave us a chance to win the game. Right? We gave up 4 runs, but losing 2 fly balls in the sun, and then you lose 6 to 5. I mean, we pitched it well enough to have a chance to win that game. You have to support it.
Coach, do you feel that Tuesday's cancellation was a positive note for the team in terms of getting rest, or would you have liked that to be played?
I'm an optimistic guy, so whatever would have happened, I would have said was the best case scenario. But I don't know. You could go either way. Like I would love to have played the game and played and won and played well and continued to build and get guys experience, get more guys innings. But I also got to see live at bats yesterday with some of those young arms that I'm really excited about. That had really good days. Seth Bennis had an awesome day yesterday. 91, 93. Again, breaking ball was mid to upper 70s, really good. Changeup was good. He just had an excellent day, and we were able to work on those things. Ryan Rushing was really good. Bunch of 91s, ton of lift, good changeup, strike thrower. Like, it was really exciting. So you got to see some of those things and work with guys individually that you want to work with. Cal Stefsik, we had to spend a lot of time together yesterday, and his swing is really coming along, hit some balls hard. So that part of me, the PD guy in me, says that's an awesome couple of days for us to get back in the weight room, to lift, to work with some guys that I don't always get to spend a lot of time with. But the competitor in me also says, man, we're playing good baseball right now. I would have rather playing. So I would have said if we played and won, I would be like, man, I'm glad we got the game in. But otherwise, I'm glad that we got some good work in yesterday and today too.
Anything else, Coach?
Yes, can you give us an update on where Brock's at right now?
Yeah, Brock had surgery on
The day after it happened.
the day after.
Yeah.
So like,
Last Wednesday or Thursday.
yeah, he was up walking around without crutches the day after. So he was in there today getting treatment. So hopefully 3 or 4 weeks kind of from that time. But he's such a good athlete, and he had a similar procedure his freshman year, and it was like 3 to 4 week thing. So we are confident we'll get him back here in a couple weeks. Whether he can catch or not, don't know. But you would think first base or DH or something. You would think he'll be able to do something here. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But doing well, up and around, moving. I walked in yesterday. He was all pumped up and veins were sticking out. And I said, "What do you do?" He's like, "I'm gonna get jacked on the upper body while I'm out." So I said, "Well, that's a good use of your time." So he was in there pumping iron, and just like you would expect him to. I'm sure he'll be doing like one-legged swings before the week's out. But no, he looks good. Looks healthy.
What about Shepard? You had an update on him?
Yeah, not quite. I mean, he's doing fine. I don't think. I don't know that he's going to recover quick enough to make an impact for the year. I think he's moving well. I don't think it's going to necessarily impede his long-term career, but I don't know that it's going to. He's probably 3 or 4 weeks away yet from being able to swing a little bit and kind of do some of those things. But he was out playing catch yesterday. Obviously, when he broke his left arm, but his throwing arm, he has to recover from that Tommy John. So him get out and throwing, playing catch, he was using his left hand, was good yesterday. But I don't know. I think our goal for him right now is let's have a really good summer. Let's get big and strong. Let's get back ready to go. Let's have a good fall and kind of go into next year. But again, AJ is one of the best players in the league. He's one of the best players I've ever coached, and I know everybody's only seen him play like 20 innings. But there's nothing that would shock me. He may come out in 3 weeks and be like, just give me the bat and get out of my way. So you never know. But I would say that Brock's closer than that. I want to say just congrats to Tyler and to Joey for the Player of the Week honors. It's a big deal. If you look at Tyler Cerny, how much that guy has developed. There was a point in time where he kind of struggled this year, as all guys going to shortstop do. But you look at the work he's put in, how much he's grown, how good a defense he's played in the last 3 or 4 weeks now. And then offensively, obviously, he's been terrific. And then obviously Joey. Those are big awards. Those are big deals. Those guys have worked their tails off there. So I just want to say congrats to those guys.
All right, Jake. Well, with Brock sidelined, both of you are playing every day now. So can you kind of talk about how you're working through being an everyday catcher at this point?
Nothing's really changed outside of the fact that you just have to recover a little bit better. So I do the recovery pumps every day after a game anyway, but now it's like ice bath every single day, the recovery pumps and during practice the coaches are smart about it, kind of just like not let me do my own thing, but kind of just be careful about it, not exposing me to too much like work and kind of tiring myself out. But it's just like you just got to be careful with it. And so now that the everyday catcher is a little more like preparation and stuff that goes on behind the scenes to kind of maintain the health and stay healthy. So
Jake, an increased role from your time last year at Purdue. Do you notice your body kind of breaking down or being more fatigued after each week, or how are you feeling with all that?
No, I feel great, honestly. I think it's all about the preparation, like the fall and then the spring prior to the year beginning, I think played a big role in it, getting big in the weight room and a lot of mobility and a lot of like stretching and stuff like that, and the recovery I think has been huge. So besides not playing a lot last year, I don't think really my body's I haven't had a big toll taken off of my body. I feel great and ready to go.
Joey, how about the opportunity? A little bit unwanted, but the opportunity that you have.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that Brock went down because he's a really big mentor for me, and he's taught me a lot over there at first base. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to go out there and help my team win.
Joey, 6 hits in the first 2 games of the series. What's the approach at the plate? What's really working well for you right now?
Just kind of staying low through the middle of the field. Just trying to do my job and get the runners over, really. Get the guys on base to score.
Both of you are hitting 6, 7, 8 in the lineup, but it doesn't really matter with this Indiana team how deep it is. What can you say about the depth of that lineup so far this year?
I think it's super important. I mean, when you have guys 1 through 9 in the lineup that you can count on to produce at any moment, I think is a huge benefit for the team. Like, because anybody in that lineup is dangerous and they could produce at any single moment. So if there are guys on base, it doesn't matter 1 through 9. You can trust the guy behind you or ahead of you to get the job done and get those guys either over or in. So it's been super beneficial for us.
Obviously, you've both been in situations lately where you've been in key moments where you've been up at the plate and delivered. So can you just kind of talk through your own personal approaches when you're dealing with situations with men on base?
For me personally, it doesn't really change a whole lot. I think I have the same mentality going into every at bat. It's more of just like a mano-a-mano, me and the pitcher. Like, now that there are guys on base, I don't really feel a change in my approach. It's more so just like reading the situation and kind of determining the pitch and location, I think, for me. But like Joey said, trying to stay low through the middle of the field has been the approach that's worked for me and works for the rest of the guys on this team, and that's what we've talked about. And so for me, just kind of keeping my sights through the middle of the field and hitting like a head-high line drive, and I think that's been very beneficial for us.
You guys, I'm sorry, go ahead. You were going to say something? Go ahead.
I was just going to, kind of what Jake said, there's no reason to heighten the situation. Just kind of sticking with your approach, because that's where the success comes from, is the approach, and there's no reason to get out of that.
Do you feel that as a team you guys are close to, despite some of the adversity, to start on a roll here?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you feel like you guys as a team are starting to get on a roll, despite some of the adversity? Maybe you've made the adjustments and now you're ready?
Yeah, I mean, we all feel good, but I think that comes from the preparation, like Jake said. I mean, we come into the field and ready to work every single day. No matter the outcome, we come here to work.
Yeah. Jake, same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, and I think even before the Maryland series, I think there were a lot of good things that we were kind of piecing together, but then when you go on the road against a team like Maryland and you win a series, the first time a road team has won a series at Maryland since I think 2019 is what I saw. I think there's a lot you can build on, and I think that is setting us up for success this weekend and throughout the rest of the year, because now we've seen what success looks like for us. At the beginning of the season, we went through that rough patch, and I think we're finding our stride again, and I think that we could build on that going into the rest of the year.
Jake, what have you taken from handling this pitching staff for an entire series, and just what you have seen from these guys and what they've been able to accomplish so far?
That's a great question. It's been awesome because I'm with those guys every single day, and so I was with them at the beginning of the year when they were beating Coastal Carolina and all these great teams, and the mental edge that they had, and then trying to help them work through like the adversity that we had like that middle month or so in the year, and now these guys are getting their edge back and their confidence, and working with them has been a pleasure, and it's just great to see them kind of finding their stride again, and hopefully we can continue with that.
Jake, is there a sort of pitcher you enjoy catching the most or that you have a stronger relationship with?
All of them, all of them. But I always love catching Connor because he's just, I don't know, he just strikes a bunch of guys out, and it's super fun to catch because I don't know, he throws harder, and his off speed is just, it's really good, and I don't know, but I would say Connor, but I like catching all of them.
Good answer.
How much have you caught Jason Otter's knuckleball? That
I've caught him one time in the bullpen, and just catching any knuckleball is a nightmare. So,
Indiana baseball welcomes Penn State to Bloomington starting at 6 p.m. on Friday for a 3-game series. See you at the Bart.